doing absolutely fine. Like, Guinevere can run around circles around Thamos forever, but losing Uranus just means that they have to give up their positional advantage here and fight a 3v4, and they can't really do much as Zoraveki is stopping Jason from going forward here, as KZP, again, tries to steal it away with the power of nature. Unfortunately, did not secure it fast enough.
Yeah, and right now, of course, with those sort of movements coming in from GeekFam, they are looking pretty much great to move in and out of all these sort of the open space of the jungle, but they will look to secure that bottom side of the tower first. So here comes a little bit more output of damage coming from the side of Jason, just to clear off a little bit more waves with that Phantom Airstrike, of course, but over top side, it seems to be way too cleared off, so Resurgence might be able to dish out some damage and hope to secure a counter trade.
Yeah, I think as of right now, GeekFam have definitely adapted. Oh, here comes the dive onto Arts as they want to actually secure this top side. And yes, they do. They secure the top lane. They traded 1-for-1 objectives, and the goal is just purely even here. KZP having to disengage, Sync the next to follow up the Consecration as well. He's going to be absolutely fine. And notice how GeekFam has adapted into this particular game, right? Zoran has been such a nuisance to Resurgence that a lot of the fights, they are making sure that they are keeping eyes on Zoran. This allows Zoraveki to actually go under the radar, and, you know, he has been managing to stop and cancel the feathered airstrikes from Jason time and time again.
Yeah, and right now, Art's being stuck in between. This looks pretty bad, but he has enough lifesteal to keep himself alive. Oh my, look at that sort of regen coming out of him as he's definitely healing himself back up. Concentrated energy for Sana as we are looking at Dominus here. Trying to actually take out that tower, but it just needs a couple more autos to get it pretty much off.
Turtle resurrecting soon.
Yep, they just have to kind of hold their ground here as GeekFam. They're sort of winning the mental game as of right now because RSG still have their eyes fixated on Zorn, and until they can kind of like remember that, okay, Zoraveki has options to get on top of Jason, we just need to protect Jason when he goes into that feathered airstrike, then the game can be a lot easier to play. Because remember that Zoraveki, he's not taking tenacity, he took high and dry, so he's building full damage, which makes him susceptible to even just a single hit from either a wild charge or even a feathered airstrike.
That's right. Right now, we're looking at level Y4. We'll be able to actually secure that wave. They didn't really need it, that Blazing Duet, though, but of course, just a little bit of assurance coming out. While the top side, we are having Arts as well as Sana taking on that 1v1, which will eventually change. Sana, pretty much preemptive movements, will be able to actually move aside and, of course, eventually give way towards the side of GeekFam. But well, we're talking about so many of these brick walls. Zorn, KZP, as well as Sync. Just, you know, what can they do to each other? I'm not even sure anymore.
Yeah, and it looks like they're rotating towards the top side of the map. Zorn is being very aggressive just to kind of make sure that, you know, choke points within the top side of the map are being cut off and rotational paths are being, you know, relayed. The information is being relayed to the team, and Resurgence a little bit slower on this trade, but it's going to be absolutely fine as, you know, the next big objective. Oh, Sana! Oh, he gets caught off guard, and even with the Vengeance, not able to survive. I don't think Resurgence is able to capitalize on it, and GeekFam finally find a profit. KZP, oh, he's getting really low. Oh, that 1-4 actually just gets one shot by Dominus and Feeks as well. Oh, unfortunately, you know, Dominus is the next to fall, but pure profit coming in from GeekFam. They've now developed a 2K goal lead against Resurgence, and we did see in Game 2 what a little lead can do for a team for the likes of GeekFam.
Oh no, over the top side, Jason gets bursted and deleted, but it will be a 1v1 exchange, as we did see Becky going down as well on his Cho. Now, Zorn's going to be walled off, and he has to flicker away, but that flicker brings him straight towards the side of Sync. Tyrant's Rage to bring him over the wall, and Zorn is still pretty much beefy. He's actually surviving through it all, and Sync might just actually be in trouble, but that's going to be a big shield coming out, and he will be walking in out alive. Sync now returns the favor and just smack them down once again.
Oh my god, Sync actually survived that interaction there. Luckily, I'm pretty sure he already has Oracle, and that's why the Yin Yang Overturn didn't do as much damage as I would have expected. Let's have a look right now, and oh, he actually has a Dominance Ice. Okay, so that means he did take some Magic Resist emblems there to actually survive that damage from Dominus, as he already has the Lightning Truncheon. Really nice play here, but let's see what are the next moves, because Resurgence, once again, we talked about the composition, having it all, the Lord Steel,
wow,
a dream, Magic could no, and one shots LY4 before the Blazing Duet. Lord has been slain and goes over to Resurgence's side, but GeekFam is gonna run Resurgence and look to force to make a mistake here, as LY4 has to sit in the gray death screen for another 20 more seconds. GeekFam have full control until Lord starts walking out of that base.
Yeah, now we're looking at the side of Dominus, now opening things up, Sync right at the front. He will need to actually clear things off, and with that sort of Lord going over the top side, they won't be able to actually escort it all too well, because they've already lost Santa, and all they can do right now is, of course, try to actually look for perhaps a pickoff, but GeekFam members are still pretty much on the top side here. And now that LY4 is pretty much in position, but what can they possibly do? They're looking for Jason once again. This is going to be looking like a really good dive for the side of GeekFam, but they are actually fighting too much. But Zorn getting stressed out, as it will be only Arts being left alive here, while Cho is pretty much outside. He's being left all alone, as 4 members of GeekFam has been taken out. Then somehow the Lord survives.
That was so huge from Resurgence. Like, I thought this was going to be a mistake to actually go for another team fight after what happened just now. And after the pick from Jason, I thought it was going to be an easy clap. But LY4, with the help of Sana, going in for the long flank was such a good call. They catch out GeekFam's backline. Feeks had no chance. Zorn wasn't able to peel for the team. So Resurgence, as of right now, all they have to do to break GeekFam's composition is to get into flank angles against GeekFam. That way, if they play a front to front, Resurgence is bound to lose. So a great adaptation 12 minutes into this game.
Yeah, and right now, 12 minutes felt like forever for both of these guys who are playing, because any single mistake could have cost them the game. Like, we're already down to only a couple of turrets left for the side of GeekFam, pretty much even in terms of numbers. But now, this is going to be Sync pretty much chasing over the side of Becky. But, oh no! That's a big trapping setup, and LY4 instantly gets deleted. Of course, in exchange for Orzorveki, it's not going to be well worth it. Well, big brain plays coming from the side of GeekFam.
Yeah, Orzorveki is just somehow always finding LY4. This is becoming a very major issue here. LY4 really needs that Winds of Nature fast, and Sync is taking a bit of damage. I don't think he really cares about it for the most part. Zorn knows that he can absorb it, and now they just have to watch the position of Feeks here and also be very, very careful of where Zorn is. As long as they keep tabs on Zorn and as well as Orzorveki, this shouldn't be happening for the side of Resurgence.
Yeah, and Zorn now, of course, get caught up. As KCB definitely sets it up for some really great exchanges, as we're looking at Jason getting that one kill. Santa getting a person down. Oh my goodness, he actually comes right back. Oh, what is going on here? As we're looking at Resurgence here, we're trying to actually take down odds, as we being a little bit more tough to actually deal with. But that exchange was so beautiful. Did you just see Santa actually almost dropping off, and he gets back up on track?
That was a perfectly timed vengeance. Now, Orzorveki is trying his best to salvage the situation. It's a team-wide. Resurgence have cracked open GeekFam and take game 3. You were right. You and Faraz were right. This is going to be a full match. 3 games, 2 games, 5 games. Expect it to be 5, because none of these teams are giving up hope just yet.
Man, what happened over there? Okay, I'll just tell you what I felt. From the draft, I actually thought RSG would win again, because I feel like GeekFam was going with picks. Kufra picked I really liked, but after that, going with the similar picks as before, some of them I would have changed, since, you know, Resurgence has already shown they're going for the Farsa pick. I did genuinely believe that GeekFam can actually handle it mid-game. But there was a couple of times that they let it go, and I mean, they did. Vicky did a good job, as Contra and you as well mentioned, that he caught on LY4 a couple of times that punished him. But the Lord, when the Lord was pushing in the top lane, I don't know why they didn't let the Lord push down a little bit more, so that they're a bit in a more safer position to fight the opponents. There's a couple of mistakes that GameFam made that ended up, giving the game over to the side of Resurgence.
Yeah, and that's it.
Really, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So
Ladies
Faraz,
first, idiot.
no worries. I like the chivalry. I appreciate the chivalry and the simplism here. But Geek Fam, this is a beautiful game because it just showed Geek Fam and Resurgence constantly trying to outdo one another. They took every single time they took a fight. They would take one or two fights, realize their mistakes, and then adapt to how they should approach the team fight here. And Resurgence was able to come out on top at the very end there. Remember, the goal lead was so little. They were both at 38k, and it just so happened that RSG found a huge team wipe with that back flank, and then it just clicked for them. They understood how Geek Fam's composition works, and the moment they figured it out, Geek Fam just struggled to engage, because the moment they engage, they can't peel for their backline.
Yeah. That seemed to be the major problem that they were suffering. Like, as of this instance, of course, they dove in, they tried to actually look for the kill over on the side of Jason. They did get that buff, but look at where Arts ended up. Like, this is just the start of it, where, of course, Becky get dove upon, and, of course, I would say they got the fun. They were the ones diving right in. So another mistake coming out from the side of Geek Fam here that costed 3 lives in the span of less than 3 minutes is definitely not really worth it. So having a really bad start, they tried to actually change things. But look at this. KZP, one big wall charge. Oh, hurts so much.
That was just unbelievable to watch. But, Geek Fam actually came back towards the mid side of the game. And, Azora Vecchi was a large part of it. Azora Vecchi essentially made sure that Jason didn't have a fun time. LY4 always had to worry about Azora Vecchi one-shotting him in the backline like we can see here. And every single time, until they could figure out, okay, we gotta worry about Azora Vecchi. We just have to force a front-to-front and then look to get a flank angle with LY4 or maybe Sana. Because, honestly, I think out of all the games, despite Sana ending the game at a pretty negative KDA, he was a very large part, the reason why Resurgence actually won, because his spatial migration into the backline was just too much.
Look at Sana over here. Look at how much HP she managed to get back after that fight. I genuinely thought the Guinevere is gonna die.
Yeah, and it was at the brink of death until the Violent Reckon came right in. It's like the big outplay that blew my mind. Like, I stopped for a moment right there. I was casting it, and I'm like, holy smokes, that's too much. Too much for the likes of Geek Fam to take in.
Honestly, I swear to God, if children are watching this and they're going through puberty and they're like, I wonder when puberty is going to hit, they're going to watch these games and their balls are just going to drop. They're like, oh my God, that was insane.
This is, I totally agree with you, man. This game was